Welcome to episode 78 of Shane Talks.
Oh, shut up.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Strike that, reverse it.
All right. So this week we're actually talking about Jason Talks. We're going to talk about comedies, subject near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite genres of film. One of the few things that my wife will actually watch with me nowadays because she detests, unless it's a comedy for me or a kids movie. Or a comedy for us, I should say, or a kids movie. She stays away from pretty much all of it. Maybe it's just the memories of watching very funny movies with the man, the myth, the legend that's joining us for the first time today, all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, wait, that's right where we're at. His name is Mr. Aaron Haag.
Oh, this is where I talked before you said my name. Shane, you're gonna have to cut it out.
We're a little bit more free spirited than that here, but and then also we were supposed to have another person, another first timer, another lover of comedies, somebody that we all enjoy watching comedies with because his laugh is just as infectious as mine. We have Mr. Justin Michelle, who was supposed to join us just south of Nashville, Tennessee, but for whatever reason, he has not joined us just yet. Maybe it's the time difference. Who knows? We shall see. On a serious note, you guys need to
I'm here too. I'm here.
Oh, you already spoke though.
Long time
As
listener,
always.
Long time listener,
As always. As always. My co-host on this monthly wonderful podcast is the one who wants to sing about snoochie booches and wants to dance like he's Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Mr. Shane M. White.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for having me on the show, dude. I really appreciate it. Like, I'm a long time listener. Like, I really enjoy what you guys do here with this stuff. So, like, thank you so much for like letting me be a part of it. Like, you guys talked about musicals before, and I really, really wanted to be on those episodes. But like, I'm just happy to be invited now. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
On a side note, on a more serious matter, do want to bring to everyone's attention that, hey, if your body is telling you something's wrong, go get it checked out. Don't let somebody who you work with force you to go to the hospital. Most of you probably don't know this, but the awesome person that is the one who created Shane Talks and our host every month, I guess that was 2 weeks ago today. Yeah. 2 weeks ago today, had a minor heart attack. Yeah. But he and has since gotten some news that he needs to change some of his lifestyle. Most of you who have listened to this show love him, think he's awesome, or you wouldn't be here. And we all adore him and love him. So just listen to your body. If it's telling you something's wrong, if you can, go see somebody. You know, he couldn't breathe. He decided to put up with that for like a total of like 18 to 24 hours, somewhere in that range.
No, it started at 4 p.m. two Sunday nights ago, and then by 8 a.m. your wife had me at the emergency room. So
okay.
So I mean, that's still what
16 hours.
16 hours. Oh, okay. I guess it's longer than I thought.
16 hours of not breathing, not able to sleep because he wasn't breathing.
Yeah.
Weird tingling sensations. Yeah. Go get things checked out. Shane, we love you. We're glad you're here. We're glad you went and got checked out and that Marie kicked you out of the office to go get that checkout. And my wife for driving you to the hospital and picking you up. But go get checked out, folks. Don't be silly. Don't be ashamed.
So yeah, on that serious note, a huge thanks to Marie and to Letha and Letha and Jason took care of Snoopy while I was in the hospital for 4 days. But yeah, had a minor procedure, had a stent put in. Breathing and heart are better. Things are good. My cardiologist still is very upset with me. Made some comments about how I'm way too young for him to see stuff like this in a person. So, on top of everything that Jason said, I suggest younger people take care of your bodies a lot better than I did. I put my body through a lot that I shouldn't have, and I am now paying the price for it. On a funny note, though, I did make the comment the other day that I'm such a huge Kevin Smith fan that because he had a heart attack, I just felt like I needed to have a heart attack too. Like, can we make jokes like that yet? Like, is that okay? I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
as
All
long
right.
as you're the one doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still alive. I made it through. Like, your brother was in town when I was in the hospital, and he very kindly came and visited me, and that was really nice of him. So, but yeah, I mean, we don't like being serious on this show, but Jason's not wrong, and I should have taken myself to the ER probably a lot sooner than Letha did. But yeah, so heart attacks are not fun. That sucked. But yeah, I'm still here. I have a shitty diet now that I have to live with for the rest of my life, but whatever. Life goes on. So I'm still here, still rocking. Let's move on with the show. Thank you for your kind words, Jason.
Yeah, of course. Flipping that, Mr. Aaron Haag joined me the day after Shane had his heart attack while he was in the hospital. We had planned a little get together. It was a big Clearwater reunion, essentially. Anybody who would work there, anybody who worked with us in different capacities at different theaters, but was a part of that family, whether you were General Cinema, whether you were AMC, whether you were Castleton Arts, or whether you were like Eastgate or whatever the case may be. We had a pretty decent turnout and got to see some folks that I hadn't seen in years, including Mr. Haag. Yeah. So thank you for being there, Haag. Any kind words you have to say about going and visiting everybody there?
It was honestly, it was delightful. There were way more people there than I anticipated. So my kind words are for you, because I believe you are among the people who organized and got all those people there that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. I think there's a good number of people there I hadn't seen in like 17 or 18 years. And then even you had people there that worked at Clearwater before I was there. So they were like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "It's fine. I'm gonna talk to people I know."
We did. So yeah, we had people there that, it was great to see everybody that we did. I did put it together. I wanted everybody to have the chance to see Dave while he was in town. It's always great when people can visit. My brother's got a great infectious personality that's sometimes bigger than life. So I was glad that people had the chance to visit with him and discuss things with them. A lot of managers that were a part of the crew over at AMC or at Clearwater, and some floor staff as well. I did think, who I totally spaced it. And if she ever listens to this, I hope she never kills me. Cecilia Shaw, I didn't think about until we were actually at the reunion. And I was sitting there at the reunion almost over with, and I was like,
I mean, here's the problem. Everyone wanted to do it again, which means you're going to have to do it again. And then
that's fine.
You're going to have to invite her, and then they're going to tell a story about the first one.
Yeah.
I don't see how this is going to go for you, I think.
Not going to end well for me, that's for sure. So
I want another one also, since I didn't get to make it, since I had to just see pictures sitting in my hospital bed that night.
So obviously we can definitely try to do something again. But yeah, so we'll get into the actual show here. Cool. This is actually going to be a little bit different than the other Jason talks that we've done. The other ones were musical based, musical movies, musicals. This one's just about comedies, and I love comedies. I have a lot of fun with them. Like I said, listening to each other laugh, getting that laughter to feed off of other people's laughter is just wonderful. And but we'll get to that when we get to it. So thank you, both of you, for giving your perspective on your version of comedies and how you love them. But first, we're gonna keep with the same kind of format that Shane has for most Shane Talk episodes. And then the first one we're gonna do is coming attractions. Anything that you're excited that's coming down the line, movie, TV show, performance that you're going to get to go see, or you get to hear about, whatever the case may be. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Haag, please go first because I need to look up the movie that I know I just saw the preview for and I can't remember it. So, Haag, what are you looking forward to?
So in September, I'm gonna go see Mary Shelley's Frankenstein at the IRT. I very recently became a season ticket purchaser from them because my niece wanted to go see some plays, and I was like, yeah, if my 16-year-old niece wants to go to the theater, I'm probably gonna oblige. And I've really enjoyed it. And their season kicks off in September, so looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the musical, but it's not coming up. It's in April. They're doing Little Shop of Horrors, and I think it's the first time they've done a musical in a couple of years.
That's awesome. That's great.
He didn't talk long
Always a
enough
big
for
fan
me,
of
Jason.
theater.
You need to go.
So I love theater. Theater's one of my great loves. Being a part of musicals and plays all throughout high school, and then I've done a couple of little things after high school. One of the things I found out tonight is my pastor at my church of City of Lights is John Owens. He's been a guest on here a few times to talk about stuff. He is going to be, I just found out tonight that he's going to be Professor Harold Hill in the Music Man put on by Grace Church up in Carmel. And it looks like the production is going to have performances at the end of October and the beginning of November, which I am out of town the beginning of November. So I've got to make sure I go on that first weekend so that I don't miss that, because we did it sophomore year in high school. John and I were both in that production. He was one of the quartet. I was the guy on the train. At the very beginning of the show, I had the first line in the entire show, as well as got to play one of the townsmen. So I love that show. There was a lot of funny things that happened when I was a part of that show, and just helped instill my love of musical theater way back when. So definitely the Music Man for me. So Shane, we're both throwing theater at you. You're talking about a movie. What's this movie
Yeah,
you're talking about?
bro, I don't know. Like, so I've gone to see after getting out of the hospital, I've been trying to catch up on all the movies I missed while I was in there. And I remember seeing a preview for something because you and I have gone and seen a couple. I went and saw some of the stuff you saw while I was in the hospital. And I remember seeing a preview going, oh, I haven't seen that preview before. Like, I'm looking forward to that. And now I just can't remember what it was. I mean,
Who was in
so
it?
I don't remember. I don't remember any. I'm just gonna say this is not what my like legit answer would have been if I would have thought about this longer. But like I'm really looking forward to The Haunting in Venice. I've liked the other two Perot films. I think Kim Branagh does awesome. Um, it's been over 20 years since I read any of the Perot books, so I don't really remember. Like, yeah, Orient Express was the one I knew the most, but it was just because I'd seen the old British version a bunch of times. So I'm looking forward to this one. I like horror stuff, so I kind of like the vibe that the trailer gives off. I hope it's all set in reality. Since the other two films have been based in reality, I hope there's no actual like spirit stuff in this one. So we'll see how they end up doing it. But I'm looking forward to A Haunting in Venice. But that was not the preview that actually had me really excited that I saw recently. But I'm looking forward to that also.
Cool. Maybe you'll
Yep.
remember before the either the end of the episode or maybe next month.
Maybe next month.
Um, so second up is what Shane likes to talk, my first time. Talking about something new or old, but it's your first time ever seeing it, something that you've just seen recently for the first time, whether that's again on stage, in person, in a movie, whatever the case may be. I'll go first for you guys.
Cool.
First time, Ahsoka.
Okay.
Ahsoka is the new Star Wars miniseries that's come out. It's got Rosaria Dawson starring in it. And it's I don't know what you can't say enough good things about Dave Filoni. So everything that he's done, that he's in charge of, I really enjoy with the Star Wars universe. Not everything that he has been a part of has been gold, but everything that he's in charge of, I've really, really enjoyed. So Rebels, we've talked about it on here before. Fantastic television show. If you haven't just watched it because of the fact that, oh, it's a cartoon, I don't throw that out the window. It's a fantastic series. might have the best Jedi in it out of all of them. But with Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka, and the vibe of the TV show and the way it's moving and the homage that he does to his own cartoons with Rebels is really kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to the next 6 episodes of that. Or is it 4? I think it might only be a 6 episode
I think
series.
it's 6 episodes, yeah.
So yeah, only 4 more episodes to go. They dropped the first 2 last week. I'm looking forward to it. And the only other thing I'll mention really quick, and Justified, City Primeval, the show's not nearly, this miniseries isn't as good as I want it to be. I think the first, what was that, 5-6 seasons of the show, whatever the case may be, were fantastic. This one is just good. It makes me realize I missed Raylan a lot, and I think he's still awesome. Timothy Olyphant's awesome in that character. I just wish that this miniseries was a little bit better, but I'm looking forward to this week's episode, which is the finale of this miniseries. So I will turn it over.
Going off your stuff real quick. I also watched Ahsoka, and just I'm sad because I think I care more about all of the callbacks to Rebels and Clone Wars than I actually enjoyed what they've done so far with Ahsoka. So like, I hope it gets better. I think it's okay, but I'm also really sick of, number one, from the preview, we knew that Sabine Wren was going to be a huge part of it. So why they tried to give us a moment that they wanted us to think she was dead was really upsetting. Like, I'm also getting tired of people being able to get stabbed with lightsabers and not die. Because, I mean, when I was growing up, if you got stabbed with a lightsaber, you dead. Like, that's what happened to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan died when he got stabbed with a lightsaber. So, like...
Well, I mean, he kind of got chopped in half. It wasn't just like a poke.
Sure, okay.
Sliced in half.
Yeah.
But I mean, Darth Maul got sliced in half.
And
there are people who were dismembered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dismemberment's one thing, but like getting stabbed, like, I mean, this thing goes through her.
Yeah.
I see Shane's disappointment.
But my other point being is like, from the preview, I know that Sabine Wren is going to be a big part of this. Why do you give me this fake moment? Like, why do you end an episode making me think that she's dead or could be dead when I know that, like, there's no chance of that happening? That was lame storytelling, in my opinion. My other issue that I'm having,
I will agree with you on that. Hold on, wait. I'm going to go back to that for just a split second.
Yeah.
With Wren, does it add anything to it either? Like, her getting stabbed, she could have just lost the fight.
Yeah.
And that would have been just fine.
Hell,
she could have just lost the battle.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
She could have just lost the battle, right?
Yep.
Something happened. She gets hit in the head with something that the lady throws force-wise at her or something. Who cares? Just end it in a different way. Don't make her get stabbed, because that doesn't add anything to it, her getting stabbed. So, except for making her available to do anything for a little bit. But go ahead.
My other issue that I'm kind of having, and I didn't have it until Ahsoka, and I think it kind of bleeds into some of the other recent Star Wars stuff, is like, when I was a kid, Star Wars starts off with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and it was filmed in the 70s on grainy film. So my entire life growing up, like, Star Wars has been grainy. And I know they've gone back and they've, special effects it and stuff like that. But, like, when something is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, like, Ahsoka looks perfect. Like, it's flawless. Like, it looks movie quality flawless. And it just doesn't feel right to me. And I don't know. I wish it had more grit to it. I wish they gave, like, some film grit to Star Wars now to make it just feel like back in the day. Like, I don't know. It's just me. And I know I'm weird and dumb about shit like that, but I don't know.
We could just get, like, a filter for your smart TV, Shane.
Oh, that would speaking of that, I did go try to buy a CRT TV not too long ago, and a 13-inch CRT goes for $800 right now. So I was not able to buy a CRT TV at the moment.
Let me tell you what you need to do. You need to go to Goodwill after dark, because that's when you can drop off CRT TVs, because they don't take them during the day.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I will keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can get me a working CRT TV.
or just change the settings on your television to add the graininess in, man. I'm sure that's a possibility.
That might be what I need to do. Yeah, I need to look at
What are
my
you trying
Apple
to get it
TV
for? You like,
settings anyway.
are you trying to play like Duck Hunt or like?
No, like just I just wanted the ability to watch old grainy VHS tapes. So I was trying to find one of them 13-inch TV VCR combo things.
I think you need to
Um,
hit a pawn shop, man.
that sounds like a good that sounds like a good idea too. I was dumb enough to look on Amazon and found one for $800.
All right. So
Uh,
Aaron
yep.
or Shane, who's first time? Who are we going on?
So I'm gonna keep the theme rolling. So this is a little fun. So this year on Star Wars Day, May the 4th, I decided people are like excited about it. And I've always like been into Star Wars, but you wouldn't call me like a Star Wars fan. Like I watched Star Wars as a kid and I liked them. And then when they're on, I watched them. Like I wasn't, and I don't get pissed off when they, change the canon of the lightsaber and it no longer kills people when it doesn't bother me, right? But I get it. So I was like, you know what? But I like it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna rewatch it, right? So on May the 4th, I started rewatching, and I just was going to go with the original 9, and I watched them in release order. So 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to rewatch. I'm going to get back into it. And then this is a little embarrassing, but I get 10 minutes into 2. And by 2, I mean 5. I get 10 minutes into 5, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I haven't seen this one. So what I watched for the first time at 41 years old, I watched The Empire Strikes Back, and it was delightful.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah,
Wow.
apparently I watched, we had them like, we had the VHS 3-pack as a kid, and apparently I just watched, the first and the third one all the time. I was like, there's an ice planet? What?
Wow, dude, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
That's wonderful.
man.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
All right. So Shane, what's your first time?
So I will. Just a couple of days ago, you and I went and saw a biopic together. I tend to hate biopics. I didn't hate this one. You and I went and saw Gran Turismo we had a whole crowd of people there that night. It was a really cool collection of people. Um, I like cars. I've never played the Gran Turismo game. And like I've said, I'm not a biopic fan because I hate all of the like fake forced drama that they add to biopics and whatnot. But like, I didn't feel that with this one, and like it wasn't amazing, but it also was not bad in any way. Like there was no part of the movie that I disliked. Felt a little longer than I think it actually was. I don't know why that is. But all the acting in it was phenomenal. I really liked all of like Orlando Bloom was good. David Harbour was great. The kid that plays the main kid, he was really good. Even like the side characters, like it was cool because like when you got shit like Top Gun, where you've got Iceman and Maverick that are just going at each other like big dick swinging guys, like alpha males going at each other, like that's one dynamic. I enjoyed that they didn't really do that with this movie. Like, yeah, the kids all had like their own egos and they all kind of like, talked smack to each other, but there was never like aggressive fighting between them. They all like knew what they were there to do and stuff. So like I enjoyed that from a storytelling perspective. I enjoyed like Jason and I talk about it that literally every buddy cop comedy or buddy comedy or anything like that, always every comedy literally has a moment where the two main characters, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And then they part ways, they go, they fight. There's 10 minutes of them not being on the same team. And then, oh, we do want to be friends again. Like, I mean, A Night of the Roxbury is the greatest scene where, Will Ferrell holds up the jukebox and, parodies Say Anything.
Flip that.
Oh, was it the other way around?
Chris
Kattan holds it up.
Chris
Okay, my
Kattan.
bad. All right, so yeah. So like, they don't do that in Gran Turismo, and I really appreciate that. I was expecting it. There was a couple of moments where I could see them going, oh, right here's where I can put David Harbour and the main kid. Oh, we don't want to work together anymore. Like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to you, or you don't listen to me. Like, there was a couple times that I saw where they could have done it and they didn't, and that made me so happy from a storytelling perspective. So, Gran Turismo, I can't say it's an amazing film, but it's definitely not a waste of time either. And especially like if you're into that kind of stuff. Go ahead, Jason.
And I I told somebody at church this today. I was like, Gran Turismo is a paint by the numbers movie. No question about it.
Yep.
But it's executed well.
Yep.
So when you execute a movie, I don't care if it's paint by numbers, you can still get me emotionally, you can get me hooked, you can have me enjoy the film, even if I know what most likely is going to happen throughout the whole thing.
Sure.
And that's what you get with this movie. I had a whole lot of fun with you, Shane. It is a great movie to watch, especially at the theater. Seeing things was really kind of cool. But as far as yeah, it's just a regular movie. It's Top Gun with racing, or a updated version of Days of Thunder. But yeah, I totally agree with you. So
yeah, very cool. That's my first timer.
awesome. Well, then next up, we usually go to Troy's halftime speech right now. We're going to hold off until we answer this next question, just because of the simple fact that, as Shane pointed out many, many times, it's not really halftime because we have such a small amount of stuff here, but we're going to have most of our chunk at the end. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit because I'm in charge today. So what's up? Number 3, we're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore of comedians. For you, your top 4 actors or actresses for comedies. I don't care about their dramatic roles. We're just talking about when you're watching a comedy. Who do you really enjoy and being silly and doing all the fun stuff? So, yeah, who wants to go first?
Haag, you want to go?
Yeah, we can do it. So what's interesting? Spoilers. I don't think a single person on my Mount Rushmore is featured in a single film in my top 5.
Interesting.
Which is an interesting thing. So actually that might not be true depending on how I go. The 4th person on Rushmore is kind of in limbo right now, but I'm going to start with basically a non-film actor. I'm going to start with Tina Fey as one of my five comedic actresses. And honestly, like, it might be a little bit of she's really fun to watch act, but then the writing is so good and it's pretty awesome. So love that. Eddie Murphy makes the list. Eddie Murphy makes me laugh a whole lot. I think somebody just got bumped. I'm going to go with Chris Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris Tucker.
God, yes.
Makes me laugh a whole lot, like just every time. And it's funny. And then I'm going to go to someone who does film and TV, Steve Carell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn, man. See, that's what's going to be tough about tonight's episode. Like, oh man, like none of those 4 people I even thought about. And like, oh man. So like with my Mount Rushmore, it's a little bit different from yours, because like most of these people I'm about to mention are people from the movies that I loved in my top 5 that we're going to talk about later. But like, I mean, number 1 is Adam Sandler. Number 2 is Jim Carrey. Number 3 is Chris Farley. And then number 4, like I've got like 3 people listed right here. Like I just talked about A Night at the Roxbury because I love Will Ferrell, but like I also really love Damon Wayans. And so like I think I'm gonna have to probably see, it's so tough. Well, I have a Will Ferrell movie in my top 5, so I'm gonna have to go with Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell would be my number 4. But like number 5 is Damon Wayans, who is just right there with all of the I mean, like, I guess my only issue with the Wayans is like the Wayans are also kind of like a clan. Like there's always multiple Wayans in every Wayans thing that I love. So like, do I really love Damon by himself? I mean, I do, but like, well, because he was in Bulletproof with Adam Sandler, and there were no other Wayans in that. So I do love, yeah. But no, Will Ferrell's going to be my 4th. But because I get to do the editing, I'm going to put Damon Wayans on my Mount Rushmore right next to Will Ferrell.
There you go. Okay. All right. So for my top 4, on my mountain, we've got one of them is in my top 5, is in one of my top 5 movies, and that is Tom Hanks.
I
always.
Yeah. Man, I didn't even think about his comedies. I didn't even think about his comedies.
I will.
Strong. Chris Farley, like, that's legit. Adam Sandler, it's not a bad list.
Well, and see, like, we'll get to. I got a little blurb I want to spiel on later, but like those were the guys that I grew up loving. And so like that's yep. Keep going. My bad, Tom Hanks.
No, you're good. You're good. Second up, one of Shane's favorites of all time, Ben Affleck. Just because I don't, every time I think of goofiness and he makes those faces that he does when he's in comedies, I always crack up, man. I think of his silly face when he's like, "Oh no, Will, what are we gonna do?" And stuff like that. It just always makes me laugh, and I think I'm sure he's a tortured soul, but I'd love to hang out with him and just be stupid and hang out with that guy for sure. So that's my second one. Third one, Emma Stone. She
okay, yeah.
Whenever she is doing any comedy, or like whether it's like a serious comedy, kind of like Crazy, what was that? Crazy Sexy Love? Is that the name of that one?
Love.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
Or she does the slapstick like Easy A and Super Bad. Like she is, and like the faces she can make and everything always makes me laugh. I truly, truly appreciate her. She's on my Mount Rushmore as far as things go. And then my fourth one it's really tough. It was all over the place. And this comes from my absolute love of his movies, especially when you're in your teenage years and watching him on screen all the time. And it's right there with Shane. I have to put Adam Sandler up there. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer. Whether or not you like The Water Boy, he's so stupid and funny in that one. And even the horrible movies that he's in, like he can still make me laugh. So that's my top four, man. So
as the sexist guy that didn't pick a female in his four, can I throw a female out there? Can I?
You're editing.
Can I say a female that I would like?
Go for it. So now instead of four, we got six for Shane's mountaintop here. He can't make up his mind.
Man, and I had picked one out too, and now I can't remember who she is.
That's not making your case stronger.
No,
yeah, there's really lots of great women actors. We can't.
Yeah, no,
they all look the same.
No. Jason was just talking, and I was like, "Oh man, like I'm the only one that didn't pick a female. I should pick a female. Who is it?" And then I thought of somebody, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a great
Jennifer
female."
Aniston.
And I what?
Jennifer Aniston.
No. That's who it was. Sandra Bullock. I love Sandra Bullock's comedies. Oh, she is great in all of her comedies.
She's really good in those too. So
man,
I'm okay with that. None of us picked Ryan Reynolds. Not a single one of us.
Oh yeah, that's not mine. Ryan Reynolds Ryan Reynolds wouldn't be like close for me. Like he's not my jam.
Yeah. I think he does a lot of the same characters.
Yeah,
which is really just kind of, it's just Ryan Reynolds, right? Like it's kind of like Tom Cruise. Ryan Reynolds is the silly slapstick version of Tom Cruise for me.
Yeah, and his stupid cell phone company isn't special, and I'm tired of seeing the commercials.
Man, I
put my son Nick on it, and it's saving me plenty of money. So,
you know what, Ryan Reynolds all around for
I do love Ryan Reynolds too. Can I have
my episode? You are wrong. Sorry,
I have two Mount Rushmores. I want to put Ryan Reynolds and my other people on another Mount Rushmore. So if I'm up to 7 now, I need to pick
Justin's
more.
Mountain.
You get Justin's Mount Rushmore. Yeah, there we go. So I get to pick one more person for my second Mount Rushmore. So on my second Mount Rushmore, the last person that I would pick should probably be a female. And so I don't know. Trying to see if I have any movies laying around anywhere that might give me an idea of Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon does funny comedy stuff.
Lucille Ball was Aaron's suggestion to you.
Oh, there you go. I just saw that.
That would have worked.
So, but yeah, very cool. So yeah, thanks for giving me Justin's Mount Rushmore since I'm so indecisive. First time on the show, I appreciate
it. My dog is being ridiculous. Bella,
I almost threw Mike Myers on the list.
Oh, you could have. That would have made sense. Stop. Knock it off.
Yeah.
All right. So
there are so many great comedians.
There are, and we didn't even touch on Gene Wilder or all the Mel Brooks,
Chase, Dan Aykroyd, any of the Mel Brooks,
Bill Murray,
Bill Murray, any of the Monty Python guys.
So
Man.
on that note, we are probably about halfway through everything here. So now I'm going to allow Troy's halftime talk.
And here we are at Troy's halftime talk, my favorite part of every single episode. Jason is handling this episode like a boss. I should probably put him in charge more often so that I have less work to do, but I'm a narcissist, so I like being in charge of what we talk about. But I mean, Jason is killing it on this episode. We're talking about comedies. We have Troy here. I can't wait to see what kind of ridiculous French bullshit he's gonna pull on me that he thinks is the funniest fucking movie ever that I'm never gonna have heard of, never gonna have known any of the actors in it. It's gonna be some artsy fartsy shit that he saw at Can, but it's the funniest thing ever. So, all right, Troy, bring it on. What do you got for me?
All right, man. Well, the first one is the real joke is that I thought I was going to be talking to Jason because
Oh well.
I like I like to talk to the boss every time,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
so for Jay to send his vice president like to come talk to me, I feel a little offended. Like it's like you don't send the vice captain to talk to the coach at halftime. You send the captain in, and
It is
he's
true.
like, "So where's the cap? Where's the cap? Get him on the phone."
Mr. Mayor, Troy's pretty upset right now that you sent your vice president to come talk to him.
Yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, that intro probably not true at all.
Oh, all right,
First of
cool.
all, like there are no funny movies at the Can.
Oh, okay.
And that's largely because they don't make funny movies anymore.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. I mean, yeah, I mean,
And
yeah.
and I say that from the perspective of somebody who like, like kind of my formative years of, like my high school, my late high school to like post college years were like littered with like your Anchormans, your Superbads,
Absolutely.
your Wedding Crashers,
Hmm.
and and I've recently kind of like gotten into rewatching a few of those, just kind of I just kind of want to see how they hold up. I've been on this big kick of showing like all the Adam Sandler movies to my daughter, like
Sure.
like that type of thing. And it's really weird. Like what you find, or what I find is like I am now looking at these movies. Forgetting Sarah Marshall was a big one. Wedding Crashers, especially. Like Wedding Crashers is a movie that I find as funny as like almost any movie that I could possibly think of.
Sure.
However, I watch that now and I'm just like, whoa, like there's some shit in here. And
Watching
it,
it from a
it
dad's perspective now?
I I can't tell if I'm watching it from the perspective of a father. I mean, I didn't show my daughter Wedding Crashers, like I'm not psychotic, you know. But uh but no, like I'm watching it and I'm just kind of like movies like this don't get made anymore
No.
because like it's like it makes me wonder if like time and like society and just everything like evolves over time, and so it makes me wonder if like they I feel like kids these days would look at something like those comedies like your Superbads, your Wedding Crashers, like all those
Hmm.
type of like broy like Apatow type shit. I wonder if they look at that the same way that like you and I looked at like Porky's
Sure.
when we were
Yep.
growing up, because like like Porky's was this movie that was kind of had like this mythology around it or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
And then like I finally saw it and I was just like, A, this is not very funny, and B, like it's raunchy, but
Hmm.
like it's one of those things that because Porky's was like had this built-in kind of like bad behavior
Yep.
or whatever, like it it makes me wonder if like I was never able to take it like seriously, because I've never been able to take
Okay.
something like Porky seriously. Like I kind of feel this way about Caddyshack to some extent. Like,
Okay.
and it makes me wonder if like that's just a generational fold.
So let me ask you real quick. What about American Pie? Because I consider American Pie to be like our generation's Porky's. Do you feel like that does play better? Do you think
I
comedy wise?
no,
No. Okay.
I mean, I like American Pie. Like, I liked that movie a lot when it came
Uh,
out. Like, I mean, that was a fantastic movie. Like, I think it came out like the summer either that we
yeah,
graduated from high school or right after
99.
yeah, yeah. So, that it came out that summer. It had like it was like Porky's with like a sweet undertone,
Okay,
but
sure,
at the
yeah.
same point, like, let's not forget that like this movie hinges on four fucking perverts like hiding a video camera and watching a foreign exchange student get naked. Like that's
That's
like,
true.
I mean, something like that would never fly
Not
in today's
anymore.
society, nor should it. Like,
I mean, Animal
but
House couldn't fly in today's society either. That movie literally
and
has
that's
rape in it.
the same thing with like Revenge of the Nerds. Like, like
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he puts on that helmet and she does not think it's the nerd.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That is, that's all that is there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and it makes me wonder that like, but like at the same time, like I watch these things and like they haven't become less funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that they have their place in the world.
Okay.
But like the thing that like and I don't want to sit here and make like a value judgment on any of these movies in the past. Like I like to think of things in their context and in their
Sure.
time.
Absolutely.
The best thing about American Pie was that it was made in 1999 and it wasn't
Yep.
made today. Because
Correct.
if it was made today, it would be a never-ending controversy about like it
Yes.
wouldn't get made today. So
No.
it doesn't matter.
Nope.
But like the thing is it's like as we're going through these like generations of things like Animal House and Porky's and like Revenge of the Nerds and like working our way up to like Super Bad and all the shit like I feel like there's not like anything right now that like has filled the void. Like,
Absolutely not.
do they make funny movies anymore? And that's the thing. Like like they'll occasionally come along randomly. Like, like the last one that I can think of that I was just like, oh, that's a straight up just funny movie, like
Mm-hmm.
made to be funny was like Booksmart. But even that was
Okay.
like 5 or 6 years ago,
Oh
and that
yeah.
shit was just basically like a female version of Superbad.
Yep.
So it's like I'm sure I'm
And
missing something.
sure. Like my problem is everything I'm thinking of that like I found funny recently were like animated. Like Super Mario Brothers, I thought was pretty funny, but like that's a straight up kids movie. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
I
the kind
mean,
of movie we're talking about.
and it's
Like
like
I'm like, what
I
was the
don't
last
know.
Steve Carell movie that was funny? Like, because he had a long run of funny stuff, and then I can't think of anything
Like,
recently.
see, the thing is, like, I like Steve Carell more like on the dramatic side of being Steve Carell. So, like, I
Absolutely.
like, like, then again, like, something like Crazy Stupid Love, I find that movie hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, that
Like,
was
I don't
15
think it's
years
supposed to
ago.
be. Yeah, yeah, 15 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I can't. Like, I know that I've seen something that I
yeah, yeah.
think is funny. I have to, but like,
I
I
just
just
can't think of anything.
like no.
2023 comedies.
When you told me that this was about comedy, I was like, good. I don't have to actually do any research because all these movies have lived in my head for the last like 20 some odd years.
Cocaine Bear, I guess, was okay, funny. I didn't see the
I
Jennifer
laughed.
Lawrence movie No Hard Feelings, so I don't know anything about that.
I saw
Uh,
that. I actually liked it. It was
was
a
it
pretty
okay?
raunchy, like,
Okay.
it was, but it's the same thing. Like, did anybody else see that movie? I don't really feel like they did.
I like I'll watch it when it's streaming on something. Like I wanted to see it, I just didn't make time. Renfeld is considered a comedy. I didn't really think it was that funny. Um,
All
oh,
the
The
jokes in
Machine. Okay, you
Renfield.
know what? I saw them. Did you see The Machine, the Burt Kreischer film?
No, I did not.
I really enjoyed that. I did find that pretty funny. Mark Hamill
But I
was
mean,
really good in that.
okay, like you've named three movies.
Yeah, like I mean,
It
like
is. It is. We are on the
Guardians of the
cusp of
Galaxy
September.
3.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Does that fly as comedy? Like
Does
that's
it?
that's about as comedic as it gets these days,
Yeah.
as far as like your major theatrical releases. And it's just like, so it leaves me with two questions.
Did you see Asteroid City? I didn't know that was supposed to be a comedy. Oh, that's the movie you
No, that movie
hated.
sucks.
Yeah, that's the movie you hated. That's right.
Yeah, I hated that movie. It was not funny. No. So I have two questions essentially
Yeah, let's do it.
because of this. Like, is the younger generation just not funny? Like,
Maybe.
and there's many reasons this could be. Like, I mean, if you were born essentially with a phone in your hand, the internet is not funny.
Good
Like the
point.
internet is like there are corners of the internet that are funny, but like if you live your life like in a way that like it is about like likes and like
Hmm.
endorphin hits and like all
Hmm.
these dopamine hits, that's the word. And it's
15
all
second.
about like that, like shit's not funny.
Good point.
Like and so like possibly the quest for going viral, which is something that was built originally on being funny,
True. Yep.
has like maybe possibly rendered like an entire generation like not funny.
I mean, and then you couple that with the like so when we were
And
growing up, comedy was about offending people. George Carlin told
that's it.
jokes to be offensive.
That was
Like
that was my
comedy
sec
was
that
a
was my next
oh,
that was
okay.
actually question number two was
Yep.
like, or is it the fact that like we live in like a state of being where like everybody is so afraid of offending everybody else that like we've lost the ability to laugh at ourselves first of all, but we've lost the ability to like laugh at anything.
Yep.
And so yeah, like like it, and as somebody who grew up basically only wanting to watch like comedies,
Sure.
you know, like
Hmm.
I would get up on like Saturday or Sunday morning in the winter and like I would turn on Fox 59 and I'd be like, what are y'all playing? What three movies are you playing today? And then I'd turn on Channel 4 and I'd be like, what three movies are you playing today? And I guarantee you I've moved around to the ones that were the funniest.
Nice.
Like I wanted to watch Three Amigos.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, man, I feel like you're on target with both of your questions. I feel like the internet has definitely ruined comedy quite a bit, and I also definitely believe that, you and I grew up in a time where comedy was about being offensive. Like it was like that's what made jokes funny because people said stuff that you were
or
like, "Oh
it,
my
it
God."
didn't even have to be it didn't even have to be like offensive. It's just about like boundary pushing.
Sure.
Like Vince Vaughn is like somebody who I always think about a lot.
Okay. All
Like
right.
because there like Vince Vaughn could not like prime Vince Vaughn can't, and conversely also does not really exist today.
No, not at all.
Vince Vaughn still kind of looks the same as he did back then. He was never like a young looking dude other than Swingers. Like, you know what I mean? Like he always kind of looked old. He always kind of
Yeah,
looked like,
him
you
and
know what I mean?
Favreau did
And it's like,
Swingers, and then immediately aged 20 years for the next movie they did.
yeah, I mean, and so like, but like the way Vince Vaughn, like the swagger, the like
Mhm.
the way he talked to people, like there was nothing inherently offensive about it, but like
No,
just the verbiage that he used, like he just couldn't get away with it today.
no,
Like
nope.
he's just not getting away with it. And so it's just kind of like, what does that say about like us as a
Yeah,
people? Like, I mean, obviously the answer to the first question is like, yes, the internet is not funny. It
yeah.
has made us all at least 10% less funny,
Hmm.
just people to be around in life.
Hmm.
And it's turned us all serious.
Yeah,
And so we need to get the fuck away from that.
I agree.
Like, unplug as much as possible. That's first,
Sure,
that's
I
my
agree.
first deal.
Agree with that.
Um, the second one is a little bit thornier, like of a
Hmm.
question.
Yeah.
Um, how do we get people back to the point where not every joke needs to be like it doesn't need to turn into World War III.
Sure.
Most
Yep.
jokes don't even need to be scrutinized. Like,
Agreed.
don't think too hard. Like, don't think too hard about it. Like,
Nope.
just don't. And that's really like the thing is like, how do we get back to the place where we can just accept that this thing is just here to make me laugh? It's not here to make any grand political statement. It's
Yep.
not here to be a thing. It's just a joke.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, we may never not. You know, we may never get back there.
We may never recover from this.
And that's sad. Like, I feel like you know, like it's okay to laugh at bad people. Like
Oh,
the
for sure.
majority, you know, like if you look at like you know, like most Bill Murray movies from the 80s. Bill
Mhm.
Murray was a complete shitbag in all those movies. He was
Yeah.
a dick in Ghostbusters.
Yep.
It's okay to laugh at somebody who's being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you don't need to engage with them on their level. You can just be like,
He's
fuck
dumb.
that guy.
Yeah. Yep.
He's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we get back to the point where we can just go, that's dumb?
Yeah. I agree.
And let that be that. Because that's really the only way that we'll ever reclaim like any sort of like heyday or golden age of comedy.
So I'm going to ask you between what I consider the two golden ages of comedy. I just want to know which one you prefer. I'm thinking
Okay,
number
go for it.
one is 90s comedies, mostly SNL type stuff. A lot of the Adam Sandler stuff, the Chris Farley stuff, the David Spade stuff, those kind of movies. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, you know, Tommy Boy, Black Sheep, Austin Powers, Wayne's World.
Can we
Like,
can we throw like Pauly Shore in there?
absolutely, yes. In the Army Now, Jury Duty, Encino
Son-in-Law
Man,
is like one of my
Son-in-Law.
Son-in-Law is one of my 5 favorite comedies of all time. I love that movie.
Cool.
And
So
there
those
that
90s,
is somebody that is somebody who I feel like needs like a serious reassessment, because Pauly Shore is somebody who could actually make comedy today,
oh, that would be
because
cool.
nothing he did was offensive.
No, it wasn't.
It was all about just kind of like being a fish out of water.
Yep. Yeah,
Because
that
he's
is
just a
very true.
weirdo.
So that's Group
Yeah.
A, those 90s comedies that we grew up with, enjoying.
Sure.
Then I want to say like 2000s, like 2000 to 2010, you had the role models, you had Wedding Crashers, you had Superbad, you had all the Judd Apatow stuff, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, those kind of things. Amongst those two, the 90s comedies and the early 2000s comedies, which do you prefer? Which do you think's better?
That's really like that's hard, because
Okay.
like I feel like that's like asking, do you like your hometown or like the place you moved to after college better? It's like you had to go through one to get to the other,
Okay.
you know?
All right.
And it's like, you know, like one of my favorite movies from the early 2000s, like Freddy Got Fingered, the Tom Green movie.
Daddy, would you like some
Like,
sausage? Daddy, would you like some
Daddy, would
sausage?
you like some sausages? Yeah, no, I love that fucking movie. It is insane, but like that movie got to fly because Happy Gilmore walked. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
like there was this like, you know, like the thing about like the 90s comedies is like they all kind of like strained credibility as far as like plots go, you know, because like if you
Okay.
say them out loud, they sound insane. A failed hockey player whose grandmother's house is being repossessed finds out he can drive a golf ball further than any human on the planet, and then 2 weeks later is on like the PGA Tour earning money to save his grandma's house.
On topic with that real quick, rest in peace, Bob Barker. Sad to see him go.
Oh man, close to $100 without going over. That's
Close to $1 without going over.
the closest. What a god. No, man. And so like you had that, and then by the time you got to 2000s, like
Yep.
it was more about like pushing the envelope. Like Wedding Crashers has like a really ridiculous plot, but it's also very like, but it's also pretty streamlined, and the
Mhm.
things that like they do to push envelopes there are more like verbal and like what can I get away with saying and or doing in this situation. And so like
Absolutely.
it was consistently like pushing out like kind of the parameters of what your audience will like accept.
Mhm. Yes,
And
sir.
so like and so I would probably go with the late 2000s or
Okay.
the 2000s comedies. Like
Yeah.
because they combined like the best of both worlds. Like,
Like it.
you know, the reason I can show most Adam Sandler movies to my child is even though they are completely ridiculous, they're largely like PG. You know,
For
the
sure.
language
Yeah.
isn't that bad.
No.
I don't have to explain a lot of like tricky things in Adam Sandler movies.
No.
As opposed to like if I show her the Wedding Crashers or Superbad or anything, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things in there that I'm like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of cringy shit in there. Like I get
Yep.
it. Yeah, they say, you know, Vince Vaughn's mouth was moving a million miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
There's no way that it's logistically possible to be firing at that rapid of a rate and have every joke like hit the fucking sweet spot of like this is really funny and this didn't offend anybody because it's just not going to happen.
Right.
That's what happens when you wind up a wind up toy. Like it walks around, but it doesn't walk in any linear way. It goes crazy. And so it's like if you're willing to like accept that as an audience member, you'll probably enjoy comedy. If
Yep.
you need, but like as time has gone on and people have gotten more serious and more easily offended, like the circle and the parameters of what people will buy have gotten
Mhm.
so small that like even something like you said Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like
Yeah.
and
It's. I mean,
we
it's
can just
considered a comedy.
and we can just kind of like end it here
Okay.
on this thought.
Let's do it.
Every joke in the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I've seen all three of them because they're the ones that everybody was like, "Oh, they're funny. You'd like them." And you know, I love Chris Pratt. That guy's a fucking baller.
Sure.
Uh, he was the best in Moneyball, playing Scott Hatterberg. I just want to throw that out there. Moneyball is the Dazed and Confused for when Troy is serious.
So let me. You bring up Days of Confused real quick. Can
But
I
anyway,
ask you? You've said it's your all-time favorite movie. Is it your all-time favorite comedy also?
it's the movie that makes me laugh the most. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yes, I'll say
Sure.
that. Sure.
Nice.
But oh man, I totally lost my train of thought.
We're gonna end it here.
We'll end it on this, and then I started to say something.
And then I
Oh, the
distracted
Guardians of the
you.
Galaxy movies.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I distracted myself. Come on, I know where credit lies there. I've gotten the feeling over all three of those movies that every joke that is in those things has been like poured over and like test
Okay.
screened and they had audience scorecards to be like, how funny is this on a scale of 1 to 10? Did it
Okay.
offend you? Did blah blah? And like, and I mean, that's not to say that some of the things in there aren't funny. They are,
Mhm.
but they don't feel funny, if that makes sense.
Does to me.
Like they
I feel it.
like I can watch a movie like Superbad,
Mm-hmm.
and I can watch Superbad for the 15th to 20th to 40th time. And the shit that Michael Cera says still sounds like he just made it up on the spot. It sounds so organic. The shit that Jonah Hill says is just like coming so far out of left field that like you're just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, they did not throw this by any grandmas. They did not like have kids watch this shit. They were just like, hey, we got a movie called Superbad. It's out in theaters. Go watch it. And then you just got assaulted with like that.
Yeah.
And that to me is like the only way to like capture a pure comedy.
Okay.
And I just don't know that like we live in the world where all the jokes in movies aren't going to be test screened to death anymore.
Word. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So thanks for your time this month, man. Like we took comedies and then we beat them to the fucking ground about how they suck now.
Dog, I mean,
That's
dude,
not very funny of us.
comedy is serious business, bro.
So next month is October. I'm assuming we will do something horror related. As soon as I know, I will let you know. I know horror is your favorite genre to deal with.
Like I can deal with some horror.
Okay, right on. But yeah, as soon as I know about that, I will let you know. So I appreciate your time again this month. I am sorry that Jason sent me to talk to you.
I mean, it's comedy.
Next Jason talks, I will make sure that the big guy shows up himself. I'll as his producer, I will force him to show up instead of me.
I mean, we can just admit it. I don't think Jason wants that either, so it's fine.
All right, brother. Thank you for your time. I will talk to you next month. All right.
See, fantasy football draft. See ya.
Oh yeah, that's happening this weekend. All right, and let's send it back over to the man in charge, Jason Elmayer.
So thank you, Troy. And yeah, that's all I can say.
Always fun. I love talking to Troy. It's always fun talking to Troy. Always a good time.
Yeah, he definitely gives you a unique perspective on everything in life. That's for sure. So on that side note, now that we're done with Troy's halftime talk that's taking place right before our feature presentation, we are going to start off by each one of us will rifle through our top 5 comedies of all time. I asked each of you to make up a list of those. We only really need to justify it if it's something that you're just like, it's on here, but maybe shouldn't be. Is it really a comedy? Something along those lines. It's the only time you really have to justify it. But feel free to, Aaron, Mr. Haag, since you are our guest, first-time guest, you can rifle through your 5 comedies of all time, your top 5.
All right, I'm gonna go kind of from my least favorite to the most favorite.
Okay.
When we met, actually, I met Jason. We were in high school together, but when we started hanging out, was at the theater, and one of the theaters that was showing when I first got my job at the theater, and thought it was super cool that I could watch movies on my break, was Shrek. And like I love Shrek more than most people, like, and it does. I did mention Eddie Murphy, and I did forget that Eddie Murphy voices Donkey. It's very, very fun. That wasn't Brimstone. It didn't come off any Brimstone either. Like it's super funny. Laugh all the time. Very good. Shrek is number 5. I feel a little guilty about number 4 because it's so dumb. In fact, it's in the name, Dumb and Dumber. Like Petey didn't even have a head. What? I can't. Like, so good. And then Office Space. I wish Justin were here because I watched Office Space. It's the first time that I ever that I watched my wife at the theater. The first time we did anything not at the theater together was watch Office Space, and it just happened to be a day when I was house sitting Justin Rochelle's apartment. And so it was at Justin Rochelle's apartment with Justin Rochelle not there. We watched Office Space. It was super fun. That's one of the first movies that I watched on repeat as an adult.
Office Space released in 1999. Just bring that up real quick. Make sure everybody is aware that 1999 has been brought up in this episode. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't prepped, but I hit the nail on the head. Apparently,
you did absolutely.
And then let's go all the way back to 1986. One of the movies I watched on repeat as a young person, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ooh, perfect.
I didn't even think about that one.
So good.
Good choice.
Yeah, the Sausage King of Chicago, fantastic. Let's go.
Yep.
And then my favorite movie of all time. It's not actually if you said, "Oh, Aaron, what are your top 5 comedies?" Doesn't come to the top of mind, but it is a comedy, and it's my favorite movie of all time, and it is the Princess Bride, 1987.
Great choice.
Was that your rom-com that you were mentioning?
Yeah.
Oh no, perfect.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, the Princess Bride, so good.
Yeah, I've got nothing wrong. I can't say anything or make fun of anything on your list as far as I'm concerned. It all works out perfectly.
Yeah, that's
So,
a great
Mr. White
list.
Boy, where are we going next?
All right, so I'm gonna start off. First comedy I want to talk about is a very recent movie. Is a horror comedy. It's probably one of the best things I've seen in a long time. It's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And I'm completely full of shit right now. I'm completely just saying this to try to get a rise out of Jason because he does not like that movie at all. So yeah, no, I love Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's not one of my favorite comedies ever though, but I just want to see Jason's reaction to me putting it on his show. Cool. Yeah. So my real list, as you can tell from my attire and my previous mention of Kevin Smith, I think Clerks is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's a very relatable movie because of the dialogue to me. So a lot of the jokes and the humor in that I find really hilarious. The thing as I go through my list, a lot of these are people that did multiple comedies all in a bunch. Like Clerks, Mallrats, Dogma, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back are just like I find all of them hilarious. I think Clerks is the funniest of all of them, but like I loved all of his chunk of work there. So then my next one, grew up a huge Adam Sandler fan. I absolutely loved Adam Sandler. Big Daddy is in my list. I think Big Daddy is my favorite movie that Adam Sandler has done. But on top of that, Airheads, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Bulletproof, like he just had a chunk in the 90s where it was from 94 to 99. I loved all of the movies that he did. Like great run for him there. This one, Aaron Hagg's already mentioned. Jim Carrey had a run, and Dumb and Dumber is in my top five. But he had Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber in consecutive releases. Like that was a great chunk of comedies that he all did at that time. My next one's a little not rom-com, but it's Christmas com. I think Elf is in my top four films of comedies ever. It's Will Ferrell and it's Christmas. Obviously, sketch comedy is a big thing for me. Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell coming from SNL, Jim Carrey coming from In Living Color. Like, I love people with their sketch comedy backgrounds and the things that they did. So, really a huge fan of Elf. Will Ferrell overall I enjoy. Like, I mean, I love A Night at the Roxbury and Old School was good, but then there was some other Will Ferrell ones that I just didn't care for as much. I understand why other people find him funny, but like, I mean, like I liked Superstar, and that was like stupid, but yeah. And then my fifth one on this list is so hard. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I have seven honorable mentions, but I think
you already mentioned like 30 movies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I got more.
Okay.
Is also a 1999 film, and that is because I was age appropriate for American Pie when it was released.
Oh,
And that's just one. Like, so I just watched Big Daddy again this afternoon just to get it fresh in my mind, and I still was laughing out loud to Big Daddy. Every time I watch American Pie, it's still one that I find humorous. I still like the jokes. I understand it's kind of outdated now, and there's a lot of like blowback against some of the stuff in that movie, but like I was just age appropriate at 19 when that came out to find that to be absolutely hilarious. It was my generation's Porky's. So yeah. But yeah, those are my top five comedies. And then I have seven honorable mentions whenever we get around to having a chance to talk about more movies. Mr. Mayor.
As if like all of those, you're just like the funny part is I'm here going, I think I just remembered. So I did an online poll. I got some answers. I had a massive tie for the 1 through 5 at the number 5 spot, essentially, or the 3 to 5, however you want to see it. There was a massive gap. So I actually reached out and had a whole lot more people that I reached out to who either aren't on Facebook, answer our poll on Facebook. So with that being said, I got to be able to go in and change things. And as soon as you mentioned Elf, I was like, oh crap. I never put my brother David's responses into my my poll results. So I just was doing that while you were answering that list a little bit. So I've gotten that update. The good news is it doesn't change anything. So I don't have to change anything. Okay. I'm just happy that I could make sure I included that. So my all-time top 5, talking about the first one that I'm going to mention, you guys brought up Eddie Murphy, Coming to America. is by far one of my favorites of all time. It's so quotable. It still holds up. I don't want to discuss that sequel at all. That did not need to exist, but the original is so awesome, so superior to most comedies. It's fantastic. I love that film. So that's number 5. I'm not going least to most. I'm just going to go on down this list. Next up, Shane's already brought it up. He's got the background for it. Clerks, fantastic. You gave me it's probably all sorts of different reasons, but Shane and I wanted to be filmmakers. We got to make some films. This guy got to make an entire living out of it. It was amazing. While he's not the best at what he does, he's not the best director, he's not the best writer. You're usually quite entertained by anything he releases, though. And 1, 2, and 3 of Clerks all have very great messages. And Shane and I have talked about how it mimics our lives. And hey, now Shane's had the heart attack to, add into it. So
yay.
So next up, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite actors, A League of Their Own, Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just pretty much literally the epitome of like his best acting and like comedic acting and regular acting. It's a perfect blend of them in that movie. His Jimmy is just Jimmy Dugan is just like an awesome character, and well written, well acted, well directed, everything all around. So love A League of Their Own. And then Clue.
Oh
yes. Yep.
You can't go wrong with that movie.
Yep.
I showed it to my kids for the first time a couple of years ago. They adore that film. And so yeah, Clue's
the new one or the old one?
What was that?
The new one or the old one? Oh, the new one never came out. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I've never seen a new Clue.
I thought there was. So I went to see Clue at IRT, and yeah, it's just Kelly showed me Clue, and I thought it was like a 2-year-old movie, and we're like halfway through, and I'm like, well, this movie kind of sucks, but it was just production quality. I'm sorry for it. Whatever. I was clueless.
Well done. By the end, Clueless is another great comedy too with a female cast. Damn. Oh man.
And then my last one is right behind me. It's my all-time favorite comedic movie of all time. It's so good, so funny. Mel Brooks at the master of his power at that time, and Gene Wilder's hilarious. Terry Garr is great in the movie. This movie was one of those ones where when I was young enough and I noticed her, it was like, ooh la la, like Terry Garr is a smoking hot lady. And she's so funny too. Perfect for Phoebe's mom and Friends.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, like this entire movie is just fantastic. Love the movie.
Yep.
And then so yeah, that's my top 5. Young Frankenstein, A League of Their Own, Clerks, Clue, and Coming to America. So my top 5 comedies of all time. So
before you get into the top 5 from the poll, can I hijack a little subsection real quick?
Absolutely. You know how we do things.
Cool. So what I was thinking about while I was getting ready for tonight's episode is, like, I've come to the determination that there are a bunch of comedies that I would consider the Bruce Springsteen of comedies. And what I mean by that is I know Bruce Springsteen's good. I like Bruce Springsteen, but all the people that think Bruce Springsteen is the boss are people that liked Bruce Springsteen way before I ever knew who Bruce Springsteen was. So a lot of my movies, 90s movies, a couple of 80s stuff, like that's when I was growing up and stuff. So there's unfortunately a lot of comedies that I think are good, but they were just in a time before me. Stuff like Animal House, Caddyshack, Blazing Saddles, Stripes, Airplane, The Jerk. Those are all movies that I can appreciate them being funny. They just don't resonate the same with me. In the same way that when I listen to Bruce Springsteen's music, I can tell that it's good music. Like, I appreciate Bruce Springsteen, but I'm not in love with his music the way that people are when they grew up with it. So there's a lot of, I mean, Monty Python is in there. We haven't really talked about Life of Brian or Holy Grail yet.
Holy Grail.
Like, those are both phenomenal movies, but when I think about what I want to put on to laugh, I never, like, they just, none of these movies I just talked about come to my mind. And it's not that I don't think they're funny. It's just they don't resonate with me the same way stuff when I was growing up did. So I don't know how many of those are on the community's top five. I know our community has some people that are older than us in it, so I don't know if any of those made that. But I mean, like even Ghostbusters, like Ghostbusters is a phenomenal movie, but when I think about comedies, that's never like at the top of my list.
Yeah, Steve Martin didn't make the Mount Rushmores either.
No, I mean, and he does great stuff. Leslie Nielsen.
Definitely, definitely. So I've supplied a list to you guys that shows you pretty much everything but the top 5.
Yep.
So we're gonna run through this a little bit. If it doesn't have a number next to it, it means it only got 1 vote out of all the people polled. Now, it's close to 100 different movies that all got voted on multiple times on some of them. And then obviously we got our top 5. But so I'm looking at this list and I'm like, things that only got 1 vote. Here's like, So I Married an Axe Murderer. Holy crap. You want to talk about something that's hilarious, funny, all the way from beginning to end and ridiculous. Austin Powers staying with the Mike Myers thought process. Euro Trip, Dodgeball, Team America.
Friday only got 1 vote.
Tommy Boy, Tropic Thunder, The Hangover. One vote.
Python, the Holy Grail.
Was that down at the bottom?
1 vote.
1 vote.
The Cable Guy, and the Cable Guy is one of those Jim Carrey ones I didn't appreciate the first time I watched it, but the Cable Guy is phenomenal.
Waiting.
That's
but
great.
yeah, so this obviously, the stretch of comedies can obviously vary for absolutely everybody, kind of like what you were talking about. When you were born, what were you exposed to? Nobody mentioned anything about Cheech and Chong, and my parents thought that was the funniest stuff of all time when I was growing up. Like, I don't get Up in Smoke personally because I'm not that big of a deal in that, that genre of film. But I mean, you also have like Half Baked and absolutely.
How did I not put Dave Chappelle on my Mount Rushmore? I'm going back. I'm taking somebody off and putting Dave Chappelle on my Mount Rushmore.
Dazed and Confused, Romeo and Michelle's. Nobody put A Night at the Roxbury at all on any lists. But yeah, so with that being said, can you think of anything else on there that you're looking at it and you're like, what? How did that only get one?
I'm going to go in the other direction. Daddy's Home 2 is on there, but Daddy's Home is not on there. And we all know the rule of sequels. Like and unless there's some sleeper and Daddy's Home isn't the top 5, that would be crazy. But
I can tell you it is not in the top 5. So,
Grumpy Old Men, that's a great movie.
I mean, Austin Powers was on my short list, and like, I'm a little ashamed at how hilarious the character Fat Bastard is to me. Like, it's so fucking funny. Like,
so when you say Austin Powers, you mean the second one? You're going with the second
Well,
one?
no. This one that's on the list is International Man of Mystery, which was the first.
Oh, okay. Well, he mentioned Fat Bastard, so I like the second one better than the first one.
I don't know anything about which movie Fat Bastard was or wasn't in, but he's hilarious.
Gotcha.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah,
he's in the second one. And then the third one was Goldmember. But Better Off Dead. Like just looking at this list. And
did you mention The Waterboy only got 1?
I mean, good point. Home Alone only got 1. Like there's a ton of stuff on here, and everybody. It's all about your favorites, though, and that's the whole point of this. Was like, what are your top 5 favorites? I'm just kind of shocked by some of the stuff that only got 1 vote.
Yeah. Anchorman's a high quality film that only got 1 vote.
That actually got 1 vote, and I forgot to add in my brother. It doesn't really change it, but the Anchorman would be bumped up to 2 votes. But again. That's that, but are you spoiled because of that second one being so bad that you can you're like, does it taint the original? And for me, it kind of does. But Big Trouble in Little China, it's another fantastic comedy, ridiculous, silly movie, and here we are talking about it with 1 vote. So Crazy. Can you think of any movies that aren't on here that should be on here?
I mean, I had Chris Tucker on my Mount Rushmore. I don't see Rush Hour on here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, like,
Shane?
are we gonna go through the 2, 3 votes and then like because like I said, I got 7 over here, and
All
not
right.
many of them are on there yet. So I just want to I don't want to mention something that is in the top 5.
All right. So the two that I have, well, yeah. So Anchorman, these are the ones who got 2 votes. Anchorman, Bridesmaids, Deadpool, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with only 2 votes.
Which is
Step
great.
Brother, The Hangover's got 2 votes. Tommy Boy's got 2 votes. Robin Hood Men in Tights, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead,
Yep.
Trading Places, Wedding Crashers, Raising Arizona, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Office Space, Blazing Saddles actually belongs up with number in the third because it went from a 2 to a 3. And then Murder by Death, which I have never even heard of. But
Murder by Death is a movie. Actually, I got a fun story about Murder by Death. So, growing up, my grandfather would record movies off of HBO. Um, and on one of his tapes, Murder by Death was the last movie on the tape. And I absolutely loved what I saw of Murder by Death. But he cut it off, like the tape stopped recording with like 15 minutes to go in the movie. So, for years as a child, I could only see
got
the
Old
first.
Yeller.
What's that? I got old.
You got Old
Exactly.
Yeller.
Yeah. Like I would watch Murder by Death, and it was hilarious. There's a lot of good bits. There's a lot of good wordplay in it. There's a lot of really funny stuff that happens. There's just so much miscommunication between characters. It's really funny. And then I never knew how it ended, but every time we went there, I would watch it because I loved it. Because growing up, I was a big Columbo fan, and Peter Falk is in the movie, so like I loved his character in Murder by Death. And then for my 16th birthday, maybe, when Incredible Universe opened, my parents went there and found the VHS tape of Murder by Death, bought it for me for at the 16, 17, I can't remember exactly what year the place opened, 14 maybe, like somewhere around there. Finally bought me the tape so that I could watch the entire movie. And I hate the last 15 minutes of it. Like, I hate how they wrap up the movie. Like, literally, by them buying me that movie, it ruined the movie for me because I hate the resolution to because it's like Clue. It's a murder mystery. Somebody dies. They're trying to figure out who it is, but the answer to how and why the person died, I hate it. So like,
Is it like Clue where the answer is everybody in every way?
no, it's not. It's not that good. It's not good at all. It's a really dumb solution to how this person was killed, and I just was not a fan of it. So, but I do enjoy the first hour and 15 minutes of Murder by Death, so I'm not upset that it's on this list. And again, I like Peter Falk a lot, and I think Alec Guinness is in it. Like it has a really good cast.
So in with the threes, the few that got a 3 count, if you will, you have Young and Frankenstein, doesn't make it into the top 5.
Wow.
You've got Clerks, you've got Coming to America, so be out of my top 5. Already gone. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is with 3 votes. The Jerk, Spaceballs, Liar Liar.
Oh yeah,
One of the all-time best comedies for me personally.
Comedy, yeah.
And then a lot of people I know love this movie. I totally don't get it. I've tried to watch it multiple times. I don't find it funny. The Big Lebowski was the last one with 3 votes.
I think the missing guest is
that and Blazing Saddles. Sorry. So
I think our missing guest is a Big Lebowski fan.
He is.
Might have
So
been on the phone.
Like I like Lebowski. It's okay. I don't love it, but like I mean, it's fine. It's funny-ish.
wow. But then again, we've said this many times. I don't get the Coen brothers most of the time.
Sure.
I like their dramas more than I like their comedies, apparently. And their dramas are sometimes or just hit and miss for me. We'll go with our top 5 though before we get to
let me run by some of these and you can let me know if they made it in the top 5, okay?
Okay, yeah, I like this.
Okay, let me see that. Okay. So I did have the Edgar Wright trilogy on here, which we did just go through with Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. At World's End is very blah, but as 3 comedies, they're fine. We haven't mentioned anything from Broken Lizard yet, Super Troopers, Club Dread, or Beer Fest. Did any of those make the
Okay.
top 5?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good to hear. Galaxy Quest. Did that make the top 5?
Oh, it did not. That would
I
be
love
wonderful.
Galaxy Quest. The Girl Next Door. Did that make the top 5?
Nope.
Okay. Grandma's Boy. Did that make the top 5?
No, that's actually in the only got one vote list.
Oh, did it? Oh, I apologize. I missed that.
Bachelor Party and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, okay, my bad. I missed that on the one.
Sorry, that blah is the 1 point, not the movie itself. I love Scott Pilgrim. So.
Right. This is Spinal Tap. Did that make the top 5?
Not even on the list.
Man.
This
And
is
then-
literally not on the list.
Gotcha. And then my last honorable mention that I had is actually a recent movie called Palm Springs.
Oh, no. Nobody put that on the list at all.
Word.
So,
Okay, so those were my honorable mentions that I was curious if they happened to make the top 5. What were you about to say?
Before
Aaron?
you go to top 5, I have
Yeah.
beef. I have significant beef with Spaceballs, but it's personal beef because when Spaceballs came out, I was a fair amount heavier and had sideburns, and I was more than one time compared to Barf, and I hate that film.
wow.
Yeah. John Candy, rest in peace. I was not fond of being considered in your likeness.
Damn,
That's why you grew
crazy,
the
bro.
beard. That's why you grew the beard. I totally get it now.
Like, oh, you look like a guy from Spaceballs. Shut up. Shut up. Dumb movie.
Oh man. Spaceball, saw it in 1987 when it was in theaters. I remember my uncle went with us, and oh my goodness, what's the license plate say? Uranus? Something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what the license plate for the Winnebago says, but when that came on the screen right at the beginning of the movie, he lost it. Was cracking up. Awesome.
Plus, they did this weird bit in the middle of it about some ice planet. I didn't get it. Like, I'm like, that's not in the movies.
So number 5.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of shocked. This got 4 votes. It went, and yeah, The Birdcage. I was kind of like, we got a lot of people who love The Birdcage.
Okay.
Also at number 4 with 4 votes was Super Troopers. Super Troopers is number 4 on our list.
All right.
Then with 5, got the classic. Number 5. Oh no, sorry. With 5 votes, we have the classic. Number 3 is Airplane.
Okay. Can't be
So,
upset with that.
Leslie Nielsen and was it Robert Stack was in that, I think, also?
Yep, I believe so.
Along with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So and then everybody loves this movie, mainly from our generation for sure. Number 2 had 6 votes, and that was Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
Yep.
solid
Nice.
work.
Solid.
Solid work.
And then the number 1 movie that had 8 votes out of all the comedies is on Jason's top 5 list. It is Clue.
I can
Clue.
see that for sure.
So yeah.
It was fun. I wouldn't have. Yeah.
So
when you think it was made in like the 2023, it's a little disappointing.
I don't know how you thought that, especially once you see Tim
Curry.
Oh my god.
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry. Yeah, see Tim Curry and
I didn't know who that was, and like interesting. I worked at a theater. Like I'm a cultural degenerate. I don't know the things. It's often a subject of ridicule. I don't think I've watched more than 3 movies in the theater since I left the theater industry.
Oh wow!
It's such a shame, sir. We go every week, pretty much. So you should join us more Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays.
Have some fun, hang out.
I still haven't seen Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet either. I need to see that.
So, all right. So, Mr. Haag, when it comes to first-time guests on our show, there is a questionnaire called the Horowitz Questionnaire. Started years and years ago on our personal blogs way back when. We've refined it, gotten it down to 10 questions that we think are awesome questions to ask to get your mindset on stuff. So, Shane, I'll take the odds. You take the evens. We'll go that route.
I like it.
So question number 1. What is the first film you ever remember seeing? Whether you were at home, whether you were at a movie theater, which one's the first one that you can remember seeing?
The first film that comes to my mind is The Land Before Time.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have watched the living daylights out of it. I like
Littlefoot. I hate
animated.
Sarah to this day.
Yeah, I mean,
she was annoying.
Stegosaurus Rexes. What? I don't even know.
That and Petrie. Petrie's such a one. Go ahead, Shane. Number 2.
Yeah. Question number 2. What is your favorite film of all time? I think you already answered this question.
Yeah, we already answered. The Princess Bride is,
Perfect
I mean,
choice.
it's favorite film of all time. Many quotable lines. So
Absolutely.
good.
Great cast. Phenomenal cast.
Oh.
Number 3. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you saw it when it was downtown. Carrie Elways came into town and did like a question and answer after watching the movie down at the Marat. Well, he's also going to be doing it up in Anderson at the Paramount Theater sometime soon. I can't remember if it's in this month, September or October. I can't remember which one. But
definitely need to do that.
Yeah. It's a night where you get to run. You watch the movie with everybody. You laugh at it, and then afterwards there's a question and answer session. I did High Fidelity years ago with John Cusack, and that was fantastic. Huh?
We know John Cusack mentions today.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow, no. Gross Point
Blank. Oh, better off dead.
Oh, yeah. So I saw the Indianapolis Symphony does movies like and they did Princess Bride recently, and it was it was delightful. They rewrote the score for the symphony because before it was like on a synthesizer.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Did not know that. What is your favorite line in a film?
So I could just like pick one of 10 lines from The Princess Bride, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to because I love those films. They're all kind of similar in my heart. So I'm going to go with, you know what the problem with the rum is? It's always gone, which is a Pirates of the Caribbean line.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Little Johnny Depp.
I
often change it and say, like, I very often am noted as saying, you know what the problem with the coffee is? It's always gone.
Question number 4. What film made you realize that film is an art?
Ooh, now this is a tough question for this group because I just feel like the amount of ridicule that could come from because what if I just pop off and I'm like Avatar?
Jason, I love you.
I won't love you, but I totally understand it.
No, I think I think that's the one that like visually comes to mind. It's the first thing I saw in 3D. But I think like I don't think I think about like I'm a did I like it kind of consumer of a movie. Like I go to the movie and I enjoy the film and I generally don't spend a lot of time thinking about the movie after that. Unless like, but my favorite thing is like the 30 minutes after the film where like everyone's talking about the film and you're processing through and you think about like the emotional thing. Like, so I feel like in some sense, like they're all kind of special to me, but only for 30 minutes. So nothing sticks with me.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
All right.
I guess that's your answer. So I guess we'll move on.
We're gonna go with Avatar. We're gonna go with Avatar / every movie.
Understood. Number 5 is, what movie do you consider your guilty pleasure?
I think as a younger person, I was guilty about more things. Like as an older person, like I like what I like, man. And that's kind of like I don't feel like any of them feel guilty, but I think like in the past Aaron might have said 10 Things I Hate About You was a guilty pleasure.
Nothing guilty about that. That movie's phenomenal. There's no reason for that to be a guilty pleasure.
But nope. I'm like, it's whatever.
Nope. Also released in 1999, by the way.
Apparently, I did not know that 1999 films were a prerequisite. Also, I don't know what the hell came out in 1999 because I am.
Well, you were doing a great job of proving how great 1999 is. I just want to keep bringing it up. Right. You're doing great.
All right, Shane, go ahead.
Yep. Question number 6. Who is your favorite actor or actress of all time?
Boy, of all time. So we did comedy actors and actresses on Mount Rushmore,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have to be my favorite
Nope.
actress or actress of
Yep.
all time. I think in spite of whatever recent trials or behaviors, if I'm put on the spot, I'm just gonna go with Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Johnny Depp has done some really. I super dig the Pirates of the Caribbean. He's fun in Sweeney Todd. I like what he did with Willy Wonka. Like he's always kind of off the beaten path, and I kind of always dig it, even when I don't expect to.
See, Willy Wonka should be your guilty pleasure.
Oh, okay.
Because that movie is garbage.
That movie is garbage.
That movie is garbage. That should be your guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
We can go back. What do we do when we want to cut stuff? We just do that? No, that's now it's in the show.
Number 7 is, who is your favorite director of all time?
Boy, that is a way that I don't categorize movies, and I should have been prepared for. That is a way I don't think of movies. But I'm gonna do like who directs the movies that I like? I'm gonna just like cop out and be like, oh, Steven Spielberg is my favorite director. Steven Spielberg is the director that I know. There's others, but like, actually, I really enjoy the Lord of the Rings films and how that was adapted. So what if we say Peter Jackson? What if we
That
go?
works.
I like
works.
that. Yeah.
There you go.
Who is your favorite character from a movie of all time?
Jack Sparrow. I'm kidding. No.
I was kind of expecting that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Actually, it was. If I go with Jack Sparrow, we have the trifecta. Johnny Depp is my favorite actor. My favorite quote is a Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow quote. Jack Sparrow, is up there pretty good. But honestly, like if we go to my favorite film of all time, it's really tough to beat Mandy Patinkin's character.
Oh, sure. Inigo Montoya.
Is a legitimately good character.
Absolutely.
The film. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Inigo Montoya.
I like that.
Number 9, what is your favorite movie snack food when you go to the theater?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with just like the classic. Like I never ever in my life, aside from when I go to a movie theater, am putting like hydrogenated oil on popcorn with that's popped in coconut oil. Like that's not a thing you get other places, and I love it, and it's great. And
nice.
For whatever reason, I could justify paying $10 for a big tub of popcorn, but like $2.50 for some snow caps is like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, like, don't you know snow caps are cheaper?
So nice. Is snow cap your other thing if you're having popcorn?
No, actually, so if I'm having candy, it's Reese's Pieces.
Oh, good. That's a good choice.
Reese's Pieces were like my jam. That's, in fact, when I first started working in the theater, that's what I would do. I would get a big thing of Reese's Pieces and then go watch Shrek. Like that was my break time.
Nice. All right. Question number 10. Go ahead.
I only gave a middle finger when you mentioned Shrek earlier because of the simple fact that I worked at Clearwater when Shrek 2 came out, I think. And it was that and Elf are by far my most hated movies ever to clean up after, because kids movies, if you've ever worked at a movie theater, it's kids movies and horror movies. You are forever going to be cleaning that auditorium. And then there's going to be spills, whether it's butter, whether it's somebody dropped an entire large drink, whatever the case may be. You literally, the two worst movies to clean up after are kids movies and horror movies every single time. And you just it literally looks like every row exploded with popcorn.
Now, I want to take a side caveat because I have an answer to the question, and Kelly, my wife, often criticizes me for asking a question just so I can give the answer that I want to share. But that's what I'm doing right now. So we talked about like crappy movies to clean up after. What's the worst movie? And the metric for worst movie is that stupid closing credit song got stuck in my head while I was ushing it. what's the worst film based on the ending credits music that you got sick of?
I hated The Matrix. I hated cleaning up after The Matrix. I can't remember if it was Rage Against the Machine or what it was, or Marilyn Manson, or I can't remember who it was, but it was just that whatever songs played during the Matrix credits, I remember hating having to clean up after The Matrix.
I can't remember.
Mine is, it's like a no-brainer, and it's two reasons. One, the songs were like in my head like a hook the whole time, and two, because they're so in my head, I tell a joke all the time that no one fucking gets because they didn't clean up after the Polar Express, and they don't, like, if I'm just like hot chocolate, they're like, what are you talking about, Haag? Like, no one knows about that stupid song at the end of the Polar Express that I listened to for hours. All right, that's my. I got question 9.1 in right in the middle of the.
Hilarious.
You guys can
All
add it
right.
to the.
All right.
Question number 10. Peter Jackson is directing the
Love the
Aaron
lead.
Haag film. Who do you want cast as Aaron Haag in that movie?
This is the easiest question of the Horowitz Questionnaire. Kevin James, full stop.
I love Kevin James. That's a great answer. We usually cast Jason as Kevin James, but
Oh,
we'll
well,
let you be Kevin James. So
Yeah.
the side question to question 10 is, in the Aaron Haag film starring Kevin James, directed by Peter Jackson, who plays Jason, who plays Shane?
oh boy, who plays Jason? Can we do like one of those like double things where Kevin James plays both roles? like we can just do and then
It's the Parent Trap all over again.
the Parent Trap all over again.
So we're twinsies in this movie. I gotcha. You
Yeah.
got way more hair than I do, though.
Well, I mean, we can CG. I mean, have you seen The Nutty Professor? Like, you can have any amount of hair on any of the characters if you want. That actually should have been another one of my guilty pleasures. Like, I love The Nutty Professor, and like that's the silly film. It's also not on the list. The Nutty Professor, no on the list. Who plays Jason? Who plays Shane? I'm gonna stick with the Kevin James idea and I think this is really fun since you have a podcast. You have a podcast called Shane Talks.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm going to have you played by Kevin Smith.
Ooh, okay. I'm not opposed to that. I dig it.
Yeah. So Kevin Smith,
Kevin James, Kevin James,
and Kevin Smith, and Shane's character has no lines.
I mean, I do talk a lot in real life, though. That's but it'll be a test in art.
Yeah, it would be an interesting. I mean, honestly, you can have lines. I was just going for the bit.
Sure, I like it, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for being a part of Jason Talks episode number 3.
Yeah, episode number Trey. You can cut that.
As we call it, whatever this is. 78?
78. Yep. 78 officially.
So. All right.
Is this how we're ending the episode? Like, is this just like you don't have some big
It
like
literally looked like
swing?
It looked like you froze to me. Aaron was barely moving, and then I was like, Shane looks like he's frozen. I don't know what's going on, but
I was just waiting to see how you brought us home.
Next month will be an October month. That'll be fun. We're doing this for September 1st and being silly with the comedies here. October, Shane usually likes to try and do something Halloween themed.
We'll find something horror related. You like horror movies?
I do, but we've beat that dead horse to the ground, man. So, but you do you, Shane. I'm just here to be your co-host.
No, you have equal input. You have some of the greatest ideas that this like the amount of times that you text me with an idea and I'm like, why was I so dumb that I didn't think of this? Like people give me way too much credit for stuff that I never give you credit for. So there are a lot of things, especially with the Ted Lasso episode, you had a lot of really good ideas for that one that I never publicly gave you credit for. So I mean, I hope people understand that, like, you do a lot of work behind the scenes. I just take credit for it with my name.
Yeah, but you're the technical genius behind everything. So I just like to throw ideas at you and try to keep you on your toes. That's all. So
Well, I love those ideas you throw at me. And like
So
Aaron was out. Aaron was like,
he
deuces,
just
guys.
went like this and left. So
Oh,
I don't know,
cool.
like maybe a potty break was absolutely necessary. Like what is it? Wacko from Animaniacs. It's a party
okay.
of
Cool.
emergency. But yeah,
He's back.
there he's back. There he is from
Aaron,
outer space.
super appreciate your time today, man. Thank you so much for being on the episode. I am really sad that I did not make it to the Clearwater reunion, so you and I could have hung out in person. But I look forward to next year whenever Jason puts another one together, that you and I can hang out in person.
I'm super excited to see Cecilia.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome. Thanks for having me. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. We like talking about movies, and that's how this whole thing. Well, oh man, so I can go off on another little tangent real quick before we wrap this thing up. So, kind of back in March of 2020, I did end up in the hospital, and that's when they first realized that my heart wasn't good. And so I had a whole bunch of cardiology appointments set up to try to fix me back in 2020. And then literally 3 days later, COVID hit. So they canceled all of my appointments, and they were like, yeah, we aren't taking any new people. Good luck with your heart. And then like a year and a half later, when they finally reached out to me and they're like, hey, we're taking new people again, I didn't have insurance. So I was like, well, I can't do this now. I have no way to pay for coming to you. But over the last 3 years, I had honestly felt pretty good. Like I played in an indoor soccer league with my buddy Garrett back in January, and I survived somehow without any heart problems. So like I thought I had been getting better. But during COVID, when Jason and I started this, kind of my concept at that point was still, I have a bad heart. I want to record me talking about movies and talking about shit that I love, and like having all these recordings. So like if this bad heart ends up killing me, everybody can always be like, oh man, do you remember Shane? Remember Shane when Shane said a bunch of stupid shit about 1999 and how great that year was? Like, let's go listen to Shane talk stupid. Or when Jason's kids get older and he's like, hey, you guys remember Shane? And like, yeah, they're like, here's some of the stupid shit Shane used to say to me when him and I would talk about movies. And like, kind of during COVID, my idea was to do the podcast just to immortalize myself and my opinions on films. So the heart attack happening kind of while I was in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think about a lot of shit. But the podcast was one of them that I was thinking about how like things kind of all came full circle, that like the podcast got started because I had the bad heart and I just wanted to immortalize myself on the internet for, future generations to see me talk about movies. And then we literally got to the point where that almost became the case. So I am extremely happy that I am still here and that I'm able to keep doing these podcasts with Jason. I am very happy that you were able to be on here with us this time. It is a great blast from the past. Like it's been quite a few years since we've hung out, but we had a lot of fun together when we did hang out. Like those days with Justin Fallon, Phil, like watching all the movies that we watched, the house parties at Justin's place. Like, yeah, really had a good time. So it's great to catch up with you tonight, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think like one of the you can wrap it up.
I was going to say, and on top of that, Aaron, if you want those invites, I'm happy to, send you text messages when we decide we're going to go see a movie on Thursday nights.
Yeah, let me know. Like I'll be spotty, but I'm not. Yeah, you can definitely invite, and I won't be never there.
Nice, that's awesome. Man. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, that's pretty jazzy. Yeah, and this is great. I mean, I've done this is post recording, right?
No, we're still. Jason hasn't sent us away yet. Jason, you want to send us out, and then we can talk.
Absolutely. Once again, this is episode 3 of Jason Talks, episode 78 of Shane Talks. Thank you, Aaron, for once again being on our podcast. It was a pleasure. As always, Shane, I'm glad that you play second fiddle to me so well, sir. So
absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciated the invite this time.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next month.